morning, everyone. I can't believe I'm actually here. I've been looking forward to this for quite a while, and getting to travel around the country now and getting to speak to amazing Parkinson's warriors, as I like to call you all, the patients, the caregivers, the doctors. It has been a blessing, and I'll talk a little bit more about that momentarily. I would like to start off by saying, in our lives, you know, there's a fictitious person I'm going to talk about really quickly, John Doe and Jane Doe. Even though they're fictitious, their stories can be all too real to us. So both John and Jane were born perfectly healthy. They've lived happy, normal lives, may have been top athletes during their time. And then all of a sudden they're stricken with their first major health issue in life. Let's say it's Parkinson's. So now they're faced with this, and it's quite scary to them. They don't know how to react at first. They panic. They think it might be the end of the world. It's a death sentence. And that is why I'm here today. I travel and basically share with people a perspective they may not have seen. My whole life, ever since my childbirth, I've been faced with medical struggle after medical struggle. But the tough times in life only make me stronger. And I would like to take you along that journey I've had, and hopefully have you all come away with a different perspective that you can use in your day-to-day lives. I also like to talk about some strategies that I use to deal with the tough times in life. So I was born 44 years ago with a congenital heart condition called Shown syndrome. It is a type of heart condition that's characterized by multiple heart abnormalities. So when I was born, first of all, my childbirth was a very difficult one for my mother. I apparently was too impatient, and I wanted to come out sooner than the norm. So I was actually born premature. I was born in the 8th month. And from what my mother told me, it was a dry pregnancy, which I can't even imagine how painful that must have been. They didn't know if I was going to even survive my childbirth. But I survived. And at the age of 20 days, I was diagnosed with a heart murmur. And they had to do, I was born in San Manuel, Arizona, right outside of Tucson. My father came to India, from India, studied at the University of Arizona, where he got his master's degree. So he and my mom and my elder brother were all living at the time in Arizona. So again, at the age of 20 days, I was diagnosed with this heart condition, and they had to do what they call heart catheterization, where normally they would put a catheter tube through your femoral artery in the groin and thread it to the heart, and they can actually diagnose any sort of heart abnormalities that's used to diagnose if you have a heart condition. But at that time, they decided to do it through my arm as a baby. So they went through this artery, and sure enough, they ruptured that main artery. And you can see my fingertips, if comparing this to this, there was some necrosis in the fingertips where the fingers started shriveling up. I was very close to losing this arm, and my mom was so angry at the time too. She was not at all happy with that staff, but miraculously they were able to get a vascular surgeon to come in. This San Manuel, by the way, is a very tiny mining town right outside of Tucson, so the medical facilities at that time, 1973, weren't all the best. But again, fortunately, they had somebody that could come and repair my arm, and that was that. So I was a very quiet baby, didn't really cry much, I didn't laugh much, very silent. My mom and dad think that I may have been in quite a bit of pain from my heart issues. And so at the age of 3 or 3.5, my parents actually took me to Houston, Texas. We were actually at that time, backtrack a little bit, at the age of 10 months, we moved from Arizona to Utah. And I spent the majority of my first 8 years of life there. So this was around July of 1977. My younger brother had just been born, and my mom and dad had found out that I needed to have emergency heart surgery or I'd die. So they took me to Houston, and my mom had to make the decision to leave her newborn baby, my younger brother, with the neighbors. And for you ladies here, I can't even imagine how difficult that would be, having to leave your newborn with, a total stranger, but it was necessary for them. They didn't know too many people in Houston. They didn't know anybody in Houston. So my parents took a chance that we drove from Utah to Houston. And fortunately, God bless them, the Texans that were living there in Houston, some of the most amazing people in the whole state of Texas. And to this day, my hat's off to them. They're amongst the nicest people as a whole. And they saw my parents there in the hospital. A few of them, they put my parents up in their home while I was there in the hospital. I had my first open heart surgery by the world-renowned doctor. Some of you may have heard of him, Denton Cooley, world famous. He actually died, unfortunately, last Thanksgiving. He did my first surgery, and I wasn't recovering properly. And so a resident doctor had suggested, let's open him back up. They had worked on my aortic valve. Now they were looking at my mitral valve. And sure enough, they opened me back up 2 weeks later for heart surgery number 2. Again, at the age of 3.5 years. And they found a hole in my heart. And they found a membrane covering my mitral valve. Some other things. They fixed me up. And after that second heart surgery, I went in as a quiet baby. I came out, they could not shut me up. Those nurses, they had such a peach of a time talking to me, hanging out with me, and interestingly enough, my name, Navin, in Indian, language called Sanskrit, ancient language. It's linked to German if you trace it back far enough. Navin actually means new. Kumar means prince. So I came away as a new person or a new prince. And I came away as a new person, just a new lease on life. And that was the first 2 heart surgeries. Number 3 actually happened in Denver, Colorado. So we lived in Utah for 8 years. Then we lived in Colorado for 1 year. But during that time, I had to have heart surgery number 3. And my father was going to be laid off from his job. So it was a difficult year. But I remember that heart surgery. I remember having the surgery and then waking up and then being connected to that heart-lung machine, which was fascinating. There was a tube that was going down my throat. I could not breathe unless that machine allowed me to breathe. It's a very scary feeling, especially when you're a little kid. And I didn't understand. And even my first 2 heart surgeries, I have memories of screaming at the doctors, just saying, I'm sorry, can you give me a Band-Aid? I want to leave, I want to go. I remember that, and but it made me stronger, and that third heart surgery, waking up to that tube, again, it was scary, but I didn't lose hope. Something inside me said, don't panic, don't lose hope, just deal with it, and soon enough I'll be back with mom and dad and get to move on, and hopefully with a stronger heart. And again, sure enough, I did. Heart surgery number 4 took place at the age of 19 after my freshman year of college at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. I had my surgery at Georgetown. And again, this surgery, I wound up having my parts of my heart replaced with mechanical components. So that was something new to experience. They put me on Coumadin for the rest of my life. I'm still in it now. And again, that procedure, this time, as well as the previous times, I was told that the doctors actually told my parents that I would not survive. To actually be told that, and the prognosis was very slim for me. And I remember seeing my mother at that specific heart surgery, number 4. I remember seeing my mom cry. I had never seen that before, and my father as well. But I remember just taking both of them and just hugging them, and I just said, there's no way that God's going to take me away from you all, and even if that should happen, I'm always with you all. I owe my life to you all, and I'm your son. So I will not go easy without a fight. And they wheeled me back to that operating table. And I remember that table was so cold. To have heart surgery, I don't know if any of you have ever experienced it, but they have to freeze your heart down to a low temperature so that your heart will be still. So they hook you up to the heart-lung machine, which then takes over the functions of your heart and your lungs. Your lungs collapse as a result of stopping the heart. So this machine takes the place of both of those. So I just remember it being very cold and having that conversation and saying, you know, if this is my time, I want to say thank you for what I've been blessed with. But if it's all the same, let me see my journey from start to end. And if I can make people laugh and smile, you know, that is the best medicine in life. You know, it's abundant, it's always there, it's free. You know, let me see this journey and let me help some people. Sure enough, I'm still here. And I wake up every morning, I take that first deep breath, and I say thank you for that privilege. It's a blessing to be alive. You know, no matter what we all face, good or bad, you know, in India, we go to temple. I've been fortunate because I go to temple, I go to churches. I had during my heart surgeries people from every faith pray for me worldwide. And there's something to be said about that. I love all religions, to tell you the truth. It's like that movie Life of Pi. If any of you have seen that, the character tells his parents, I'm not Hindu, I'm Hindu, Muslim, and Christian. And of course his family laughs at him saying, you can't be all of them. And my point is, why not? You know, we're all human beings, we're all brothers and sisters. And anyhow, going back to this story, in India we go to these temples when we have our prayers or we want to seek blessings from the priests. They do their puja, and then at the end they give you what they call prasadam, which is a piece of fruit or a piece of sweet, something to take that's been blessed, and you get that blessing. So that prasadam, it may taste wonderful, and oftentimes it does. Sometimes, I've had it where it wasn't actually the best tasting. But whether prasadam tastes good or if it tastes bad, it's still prasadam. And likewise, in life is going to give us the good times. Life is going to give us the bad times. But no matter what, any way you look at it, it's still a blessing. You know, the glass you see on that table there, you know, is it half full or is it half empty? That frown you see right here, is that a frown or alter your perspective? It's really a smiley face upside down. It's how you see things in life that makes life truly beautiful. You know, I could sit here and cry to you all about having all these heart surgeries. Or I can tell you that, my God, my heart's super strong. I've had 5 of these, you know, and my heart's partly mechanical. I'm the Bionic Man in the table tennis world. You know, it's a strong heart. I'm so grateful. Yes, I have Parkinson's. It has been tough, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I'm a U.S. Olympian with Parkinson's. I'm living my dream now at the age of 44. I was not athletic in my younger years. I mean, I played soccer, I played a few sports here and there, but I'm experiencing my childhood and my life now. I'm in the best physical shape of my life thanks to Parkinson's. It has taught me the importance of staying physically fit. And most of all, I'm blessed and I'm grateful to have Parkinson's because I'm here with all of you all. I would not be here today. My life path would have taken me somewhere else. You know, and it's how you see things in life that can make things better and more tolerable. If you choose to live, that's the thing. It's a choice we all must make. So I challenge each of you to see the good within the bad. You know, when you go into that dark room, that negativity or whatever you face in life, instead of shying away from it, denying it, getting angry, embrace it. Embrace it with humility and compassion, because only then can you see the possible good within the bad. I'll admit it's tough sometimes. You can't always do that, but it's not impossible. You know, and that's why I stress the importance of laughter and smiling. You know, a smile can lead to a positive outlook. And with the positive outlook, we can make the impossible possible. And I'm a living testament to that. I mean, I should have died all those times, and I'm still here. A lot of it is due to having a positive outlook and, you know, not giving up. So I was diagnosed with Parkinson's 5 years ago, and they don't know how it happened. I know that I had issues with essential tremors for quite some time because it's genetic on my mom's side of the family. And I remember I started off earlier in my life being a violinist, professional violinist and a singer. And I remember playing at a concert and solo, and my hand started shaking. And some of my friends said, "Hey, you might want to be seen by a neurologist. That's concerning." So I went and I saw them, and at the time they said, "Oh, it's not Parkinson's, it's definitely essential tremors." It wasn't a resting tremor, it was more of an action tremor. So, you know, I tried the propranolol for a bit, and that didn't really help, but it went away for the most part, so never really had issues with that. They think what might have happened, and you don't hear this too often, but during my fifth open heart surgery, which I didn't really talk about, that was 9 days after 9/11. You know, and it was a scary time because we didn't know if the hospitals were going to get bombed. I had my surgery at the famous Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, and fortunately, I survived that one. That was probably the toughest one. I had all these tubes. I remember waking up and all these tubes that they had to pull out of me eventually, and the pain of that, I've been told by female patients that the pain was as bad as childbirth. And let me tell you, my God, if that's the pain, God bless you all. That's the toughest I've ever dealt with. That almost knocked me out. So, wow. But I again got past that with a positive outlook, and again I can't stress the importance of that enough. So again, with that heart surgery, they were saying that there was a possibility I could have suffered a micro stroke, or a stroke on the micro level, enough to cause some damage that may have impacted my dopamine production in the brain. That's a theory that they have. They could confirm that with a MRI, but the thing is I have a cardiac pacemaker, and even though the pacemaker is MRI compatible, I had my pacemaker last replaced 2010. This is my second pacemaker now, because every time a pacemaker, the battery goes after 10 years. You have to get the whole device taken out and put in, and then they just reconnect the old wires. Well, one of my wires had gone bad. So they left that wire dangling inside me. It's safe, but they put another wire in my vein. So I actually got 3 wires, 2 of which connect my pacemaker to the heart, and one of them that just goes from the heart, and it's just sitting there. So with an MRI, what that actually does, that magnetism generates heat. So anything metallic, if it's open-ended like that dangling wire is, that heat, intense heat, will travel from that wire down to the heart muscle and actually burn a hole in my heart and probably kill me. So yeah, we can't actually prove that one, but no matter what, I have Parkinson's, so that's the end result, so I'll focus on that. But living with Parkinson's, it's been a challenge at times, but again, with my previous heart experiences, that has given me the strength. Because, you know, one thing in particular, when you have open heart surgery and you wake up, they make you get out of bed. You don't get a chance to really sit down and rest. They want you to walk, they need you to walk, because again, your lungs, they've collapsed. They have to get everything up and running. So I forced myself to get up, and I fought through the pain. Having your chest sawed open and ribcage ripped apart, that puts a lot of pain and stress on your body. And you know, I've faced that, and that's been my benchmark to compare other things that have happened to me later on in life, including the Parkinson's. So in a way, that kind of gives me the strength to deal with whatever Parkinson's is thrown at me. And with Parkinson's, I found that, again, taking the medication and staying physically active is definitely the key. That definitely slows the progression of the disease. I needed to have a good outlet to kind of channel my interest and activities after getting Parkinson's. I didn't know what to do at that time. It was initially quite scary for me. So I got back into table tennis. Table tennis was actually a sport that my dad got me into at the age of 4. He realized that with my heart condition, I'd have to, I'd probably be in physical restrictions for much of my life. So he got me into that, because table tennis, you can cater it to whatever your physical level is. You can play at a high level, you can play at a recreational basement level, but you still reap the health benefits of that game. I have seen improvement in my Parkinson's symptoms since I started playing 5 years ago at my level. I couldn't even hold a paddle to begin with. I couldn't hold a paddle to begin with. So I would hold this, it would be shaking like this. I couldn't do a solid forehand or a backhand. It made me upset actually, because I knew I could play the game. My mind knows I could play, my heart knows I could play, but I just couldn't get my hands to play. And it was very frustrating. But I didn't give up. I channeled that anger in a positive way. And I wound up getting coaching by the national team coach who lives near me. And we worked together for the last 5 years. Been training with him, I've been training with former members of the Chinese national team that compete at my club. And I tell them specifically, don't let up on me, even though I have Parkinson's. You hit that ball at me as hard as you can. And they hit that ball at me at speeds over 100 miles an hour. And I'm able to block it, and I can return it, and I can keep up with them. But it's been a difficult road. But I'm honored to say that, I'll give you a little demonstration right now, the benefits. Notice the tremors stop. There's something about this game that does something to the brain and makes me forget that I even have Parkinson's. That is the key to dealing with our Parkinson's, staying physically active. My doctor has been quite impressed. He does motor skills testing on me at every visit that I go to. I see him every 3 months. He has seen constant improvement in my motor skills, higher and higher scores, and it's quite remarkable. Researchers are actually doing research now on table tennis. They are seeing benefits. There's a Parkinson's community actually in New York, upstate New York, in Pleasantville, New York. There's a big table tennis club there. They now have an active Parkinson's group that they've started a table tennis club. And there are members there, including one gentleman, a dear friend of mine, Ninad Bach. He's a world-renowned musician. He's played with U2 and Bono and a bunch of other celebrities from Croatia. Really good musician. He has Parkinson's, and he's been playing table tennis now for the last few years. He is seeing huge improvement in his Parkinson's, and as are others. So, I highly encourage any of you, if you have access to a table tennis game, talk to your doctors first to make sure that you're allowed to do it, of course, but start off slow, play a little bit, see how it goes, and who knows, you may actually start seeing improvement. But no matter what, staying physically active, whether it's walking, the rock steady boxing, anything you can do, that is definitely the key to slowing the progression of this disease. Currently, right now, I am taking Azilect, and I was on Neuropex. And that I actually was, I got off of it 2 years ago because of the side effects it had on me. I didn't have a lot of the big side effects like the gambling or the hypersexuality, thank God. I have no people that that's been an issue with. But I did have a desire to shop more, and I look at my closet and I'm wondering, why the heck did I buy half the stuff after taking that medicine? But you have to have your sense of humor. But I did wind up gaining 50 pounds of lymph fluid weight as a result of Neuropex, which that unfortunately is no joke because now that has repercussions on my heart condition as well. I also saw something that you don't see in much literature with Neuropex, and that's heart side effects. I wound up getting something that they call ventricular tachycardia, which is an arrhythmia of the ventricles. Which, I again have a cardiac pacemaker that will control most arrhythmias, but it does not control ventricular arrhythmias, and those can kill you. So my pacemaker actually documented evidence that I had these episodes of ventricular tachycardia, all of which stopped once I got off the Neuropex. I have not had any of that ever again, thank God. But I'm still facing the 50 pounds of lymph fluid weight. I wear pressure stockings now full-time. And that has been a huge annoyance to me. I'm hoping that, I've been told that eventually I'll start losing that weight, but it's a slow process. So now that I've been off Mirapex for 2 years, I'm actually on Rytari. I've been on that. That's an extended release carbidopa, levodopa. That has been working out pretty good, that with the Azilect. One thing to note, for any of you that might be taking Rytari, I was told by my doctor that if you ever do have to get hospitalized, and a lot of times they'll give you the medication there in the hospital. With Rytari, you cannot, if they give you just carbidopa, levodopa, it is not the same thing. You will want to get the Rytari or bring your medicine from home, because apparently there are variations and you might not be getting the full benefits if you are normally on Rytari. So, coping with the tough times in my life, I wanted to just quickly talk about some different strategies that have helped me. Table tennis, of course, has helped with my dealing with my Parkinson's. I've seen improvement in my tremors. I've seen improvement in the muscle stiffness that I had previously. My reflex time is enormously quicker. I mean, again, that ball is coming at me at speed so fast, having to react so quickly. And, you know, I remember something falling off the refrigerator, a cup, and seeing it in my peripheral vision, and I didn't think much of it. I just kind of went, and I caught the thing. I felt that Mr. Miyake, it was really great. This Chinese martial arts master. It was wonderful. So another benefit for table tennis. I found that playing my violin, I've been playing for the last 34 years. I have a ways to go still before I consider myself good, but the nice thing about playing the violin, whatever I hear music-wise on the radio, I can hear it and I can play it pretty quickly on the violin. If I can hear it, I can sing it. So I play the violin and I sing. I've actually seen both have a positive impact on my Parkinson's. When you're faced with a difficult situation, you know, a lot of us tend to want to panic first and, you know, maybe feel negative and what have you, but I stress to people, the first thing you should always do when you're faced with the tough times, don't panic. Stay calm. That's a must. Then you got to assess the situation. You know, find out, okay, yeah, this is a catastrophic problem, but what is the problem? A lot of times you'll be surprised, you might not know the full extent of the problem. And maybe once you find out the full extent, it's not as bad of a problem as you thought it might be. So, you know, you want to always assess the problem. I like to incorporate a what we call a divide and conquer approach. My background was in computer science back in college, and you know, we were faced with tough computer programming assignments where we had to implement something big, and it was very easy to feel overwhelmed. But you know, when faced with a big computer problem, we incorporate a divide and conquer approach. Take that problem, let's break it up into smaller, more manageable problems. In project management, also in the corporate world, they're really big on that. They say that, you know, you have a big project you're trying to manage. Well, let's take that, whatever work we need to do, let's break it up into more manageable sub-pieces, and then we tackle those to solve the problem. You can apply this even to Parkinson's. You know, with my Parkinson's, I started noticing, you know, it's very easy to feel overwhelmed by all the symptoms. You wake up one day and it's like, you know, gosh, I have Parkinson's, this is horrible, I'm feeling terrible. Well, let's take that as an example. You know, first thing, again, don't panic. You assess the problem. Okay, well, yeah, you're feeling terrible today, but what in particular is making you feel terrible? So let's say, for example, it's my voice. My voice feels very soft, very faint. And a lot of people don't know this, but Parkinson's actually affects the voice. It was affecting my voice too, initially. My voice was very soft. I noticed it was getting weaker and weaker. And I'm saying, what is this? I can't afford to have a weak voice, given my interest in motivationally speaking and singing and whatever. So I was like, okay, well, let me sing. Let's try that, and let's see Let's see how that goes. Because like any muscle in the body, you want to make it stronger, you got to work it out. So allow me to, the honor, share with you a special song that I would sing to help improve my voice. You want to pick a song that allows you to, if you can sustain your voice long enough and with the breathing, and you can alter the volume loud and soft, anything you can do to exercise those vocal muscles helps. And I've actually reversed any issues I was feeling. I've reversed it now. I don't feel that issue anymore. So again, that divide and conquer approach and staying calm and assessing the problem, a lot of those helps us deal with the tough times. So sit back and relax and enjoy this short little thing. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me, the one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me, the one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. She once was a true love of mine. Yeah, just keep singing, and I found that definitely helped. So my voice is fully back, and